I will.
Thank you.
All right, so when we come into MailChimp, you want to make sure that you set up an account. And I actually, you want to make sure you have your profile all filled out, because this is going to feed into your emails or your newsletters or whatever it is that you do. So you just want to make sure you fill out the profile. You can take a look at the plans and see if there's one that you like. I have the very basic $20 a month account. I was using a free account, and you can have a free account if you have less than 2,000 emails in your audience, and you send out less than, I think it's 12,000 emails. So that would be 6 times. If you had 2,000, that would be 6 emails a month. That would be 12,000 emails. So it's free up to that point. But if you want some of the other features in MailChimp, then you probably should get the basic account for $20. And I'll show you what advantage that is. And I've gone for a long time without using a paid account, but there are advantages to having that, and I'll show you what those are. Ooh, nice hot coffee. So your profile will always be under here. You can see what your settings and your billing and any integrations. Integrations are attaching your Facebook page, your Google page, your Twitter account, your website, anything that you want to integrate in here. So this is your custom website. Your Canva design account can also be integrated in here, which I think is pretty awesome. So, and Eventbrite, if you use Eventbrite. I hope you're not using Eventbrite if you have one of my websites. I hope you're using your event page on your website. If you don't have an event page, tell me and we will install it on your website if you decide that you want to use it. So setting up your MailChimp account isn't hard. They have a little wizard that walks you through it. It's super easy. So let's go back to the home page up here. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is create your audience. So your audience is your database. So you can easily go in here and import contacts. And by importing your contacts, you're basically just setting up like first name in a column. It's a CSV file, and you want to make sure that you have a column for first name, a column for last name, a column for email. That's pretty much it. If you want to have other columns for tags like buyer or seller or potential client, you can create those as well. And you can also change those. So if you look at, here's your tags. So I have all kinds of tags in here on mine. When I go to create my email, if I want to select just the Walnut Creek area agents, I can actually do that. And importing is pretty easy. And again, it's just, it's a wizard. It walks you through it. It's very simple to do. If you have any problem with that, let me know. I don't really have a list to import, so it's hard for me to show you that. But it's always going to tell you that your audience, how many contacts they have. 942 of mine are subscribers. I had an old list that I imported, and so I lost about 100 of them there, just because they were no longer good email addresses. So now we can go to all of our contacts, and you can see all your contacts. And yeah, you can have all this other stuff on your in your spreadsheet if you want to upload it. And then that way you can pick like everybody by city, for example, everybody by company when you go to send an email. So it just depends on how you're going to use this, what columns that you really want to import. I keep mine really simple. Mine's the email, first and last name, pretty much all the time. You can also add individual contacts. So you can add a subscriber by putting in their email and any of this information that you want. You can also create a tag or pick a tag, and you have to say this person has given me permission to email them, and then hit subscribe. And if you've already got that client in your audience, it's going to tell you, oh, this person's already in there. If it's a different email address, it's going to add it, even though it may be the same person. So let's go ahead and go over here to campaigns now. And I think this is one of the really cool things. You can see all my campaigns are in here. And I get a pretty good open rate and click rate for what I do. So, and this always will have reports, overview reports, everything that you can take a look at, how your email has performed. You can see who's opened it, who hasn't opened it, how many times they've opened it, what they clicked on, what they found of interest. So it's a really good report to have. Let's go ahead and look at this one, view report. This went out to 954 recipients. You can see that I had 261 opens, but my total opens shows 471. Now, this means that a lot of people opened it more than once. So it was opened 471 times by 261 people. So 38 people clicked, 52 of the emails bounced. They will, if they bounce 3 times, they will go on your unsubscribe list. So you don't even need to worry about figuring out who bounced. 4 people unsubscribed, that's fine. If they don't want my emails, that's fine. They just go into the unsubscribed. And it's important to leave them and not delete them, because in the future, if you ever go to add them and they've already unsubscribed once, it won't let you add them. So, and then, because then they might get all pissed off again, why are you sending this to me? And you can see 38 people clicked on my email links with the total clicks of 69 different clicks. Is that clear? And it kind of shows you the time of day things get opened. And so here you can kind of start seeing trends in your performance as to when's the best time to send out your emails as well. And it's going to show you the top links that were clicked, how many times, and then the subscribers with the most links. And then hopefully you're not getting out of the United States, that you're not getting people from Russia or anywhere else to click on your links. So that's what the, and this is by campaign. So that's what the report looks like. And it's important to take a look at that. I am going to show you how to set up a weekly newsletter. This is one that I already have started, and I'm going to show you that briefly. So it's important.
Patsy, question.
Yes.
If you already have, let's say you update your database outside of MailChimp, so you've got some new people to add, do you add them manually or do you import them again?
Oh, you know, if it's only like 4 or 5, I'll probably do it manually. Right. Otherwise, I would just, if I've got it in my CSV file, then I would probably just do the import if it's like 20 or 30. And it's just going to bring in those that are added or new.
Yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So here you have a 2-section. This is where you pick your audience. So again, I have website contacts. I can pick my tags or say new group or segment. And I can actually say in here that on the date added. So let's say I just added 5 new contacts and I wanted to send them the last email newsletter that went out. So I can say, send it to anyone that I added after the last campaign was sent. So that's kind of nice to have. I can also put in here, say by last name, and I can say is greater than L. So if their last name starts with an M through a Z, they're going to get it. Or I can say is less than an L or an M. I would want to change it to an M, and then A through L is going to get my email. Okay, so let's just go to all subscribers. And again, you may want to just play with that. I think one of the advantages of sending them in batches is that if you've got 500 and you want to send them in batches, it's more likely going to go into their inbox. And I'm going to talk about that next. So whenever you get your audience set up the way you want it, you can also personalize it. So that it looks more like it's to the individual. So let's say I want to say to first name and hit save. So that way it's going to look like I'm sending it directly to Tom, dear Tom, or to Tom. And then we're going to do our subject. So here you want to create, they've got some suggestions over here. Spaces limit to 60 characters. It's 107 or I don't know how many, but you want to keep it short and sweet, because if they're looking at their emails on their mobile phone, you can count how many spaces show up on your mobile phone, and you can probably figure that that's probably what they have as well. So each character, 1, 2, 3, including spaces, 4, 5, 6. So you want to kind of make sure that you don't go beyond whatever is showing up on your own personal phone. And on mine, I think it's 28 characters. So within the first 28 spaces or characters, I want to make sure that I get my message across that will entice them to open it. And then the preview text is that content right under the title of your email. It's not necessarily the first thing sentence in your email. This is a preview text. So here you can say something like, what the beep are you doing? Make it something, oops. Wait. And hit save. But you want to make this, again, it's going to tell you over here, good job, emojis are great, small quantities. I'm not a huge fan of emojis and Facebook posts all over the place. They can become pretty difficult to read. Just write the word. You want to make sure it's short and sweet. Get your point across without using too many punctuation marks, and hit save. So it's going to give you a few hints on writing your subject. So now we get to the content, and this is a newsletter template that I already created, but we're going to go back and I'm going to show you how to create this. So each week you can just duplicate your last week, change the title of your email, and then go through and just change the content, your images and stuff like that. And you're good to go once you have this set up. So here I have my logo. Here I have my title. I have this is called an image card plus text, and it's one without a box. Oh, this is the one with the box, sorry. And then we have a 2-column setup here where we have, I actually have 2 pictures side by side. And then this is a 2-column. You can see column 1, column 2, where I have my content that I wrote for the pro and the con. And then here I just drag over a button right here and put my link in it to my blog post. And notice, we're going to talk about this more, but I just put in a little snippet of my actual blog post and said, read full blog here. So over here, you're going to see my blog on my website. What the bleep are you posting on social media? So this is where you want to drive your customers to your blog post, and you're going to put in this link up here. So if you don't have a blog post and you don't write a blog, you can always put all of your thoughts into your newsletter if you want. I strongly prefer that you guys put it in your blog post rather than in a newsletter template. So just put enough information that's going to make them want to read the full article, and then you can put a button to that. And then create, again, some entertainment, enhance, give them value. I love to cook, and I actually made this chicken enchilada soup the other day, and I ate it for lunch every day last week, and I did not get tired of it. So I thought I would help them out by providing a recipe. And again, now I can go here. Let's see, let me put a button in here. And I'm going to link it to a file and upload. Let's see, where is my... So this is where you want to make sure that whatever you do, you save this stuff where you know where it is. Easy chicken soup recipe, enchilada soup. So now they'll be able to download this PDF right out of your newsletter with the recipe. And let's say I want to put in a divider here before I start my next section. So this is the kind I always like to have. You know, every week I do a recipe corner. Every week I might do something like market updates. Let me show you one over here that I did set up for a client. So this is when we had a first section where they are highlighting a local home for sale, and like to schedule their private showing. We talk about, they have a trends section in their newsletter. They have a recipe corner. Here they also do real estate updates. And we're downloading actually the CAR updates. So when they click on that, here's the Alameda County. So you can see that that works really well. And then they also have a section usually in theirs, and it's not in this one, but where they're highlighting a local business, which is kind of nice. Let's see if you can see that one. Home highlight, home front, recipe corner, real estate updates. No, this doesn't have it either. So anyway, you can also put in, you know, how to highlight a local business, all kinds of things in your little newsletter. So you want to make sure that it's things that might be of interest to people, but also that it's varied enough so that you get a little bit of real estate in there. You can talk about how many buyers are out there looking for homes and how many offers each home is getting.
Patsy, I have a question.
Sure.
So is it possible to take the blog from our website and just copy and paste that into MailChimp and use that as
That's what I did, only I took out, so yes, these two
and make that
sections.
the total newsletter.
But why would you want to do that? Don't you want to drive
why not?
the traffic to your website to read the full
Yes.
article? So just
Yes.
give them enough to entice them into reading the full article. You can do that, Tom, but it's not going to drive traffic to your website.
I get you. And if I do that, though, will the hyperlinks stay active within MailChimp?
You mean
if there are
this?
hyperlinks in my blog?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you. But you can see here on the, I just did 1, 2, and 3, but in my actual blog, I have, here's 1, 2, and 3. So all I did was take out the description of 1, 2, and 3, and then just copied it over.
So that's a click. In other words, in your analysis, somebody's looking at the MailChimp newsletter and boom, they click through to your website blog.
Yes.
And I guess that's a single click then, okay.
Yes. So yes, they can read the full blog here. And then the recipe corner, they can download the recipe. I don't need to take up room putting all the ingredients and directions in my newsletter. And when you're the recipient of this, do I want to see the entire blog here? Nah. Can I just take a look and see if it's something I'd like to read more about? Yes. The recipe, easy chicken enchilada soup. Is it something I'd love to make? Maybe. So I can download the recipe here. But if I'm reading this email on my mobile device, do I want to scroll down through that entire blog or that entire recipe to get to the next section? You're probably going to lose me about in the first part of your email. I'm probably not going to scroll all the way down to see what all is in your newsletter.
Gotcha.
And, you know, you can also put in this newsletter, you're going to find, and then you can do contents up here. And you can also put in, let's see, let's say we're going to put that in. So we're going to drag this box over here, this text box. All right. And then I'm going to say recipe corner. So if I did that, I could easily just highlight social media now and add a link. Instead of a web address, I can do an anchor link. So you have to put the anchors in first. So under my social media, if I put in an anchor, I'm going to call this social media article. Say okay. Down here on my recipe corner, I'm going to put in an anchor, call it my recipe corner. So You get the idea. So now when I go up here and put my contents, I can highlight this, put in my link, go to an anchor link and say social media. And I can do the same thing with Recipe Corner. Go in and put in an anchor and say Recipe Corner, insert. So now I'm creating a contents, an index of, or a content index so that they can click and go right to that section within my email.
That's very cool. I like that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially when they are scrolling on a mobile device. So this bottom section is automatically always going to be put in. This is a compliance issue. So according to the law, so you have to have this in. Now I usually go into this one and I put a whole bunch of returns in so that I can get it down as far as I can, because this is where they have the opportunity to unsubscribe. So you have to have that in there, but I don't have to make it easy to find if I don't want them to subscribe. So because we're trying to get them, even if it's not something of interest this week, maybe next week there'll be something more of interest. But you know, most people are pretty smart, so they can figure all that out. And you can always add all of your Facebook, Twitter, your website, whatever social media that you want to add in here. Here's add another service. So you can always put those things in here if you want to put in your links to your social media. So I'm going to get out of this and we're going to start from scratch because we only have about 20 minutes left. And I want you to see how we do this from scratch. So we're going to go back to campaigns and we're going to say create a campaign. And you're going to notice in here that there's all kinds of things that you can do in here, including creating a survey or a landing page. You can even do ads. What I love about this is you can do Facebook/Instagram ads, you can do Google remarketing ads. And I'm just going to tell you right now, I've had excellent luck and results with doing ads through MailChimp. I don't know why the results are so much better than going directly on Facebook or out of command. But what I do know is that this tends to be cheaper and I get better results. I get a lot more leads generated through my ads through MailChimp. And I don't know what they're doing that's special, but they also tend to be much cheaper to do. So that's a good thing to look at as well. So let's go back over here because we're going to go back to just our email here and do an email campaign. If this is going to be a weekly newsletter, or let's call it monthly newsletter. Sphere of influence. Let's say begin. So now we're going to be able to set up the beginning of this. So we're going to add our recipients. I'm going to leave it as all subscribers in my audience. I'm going to put in my to field, say to the first name, so it seems a little more personal. And then my from, and hit save. Now I'm going to point this out to you. I prefer non-vanity emails in your MailChimp account. So patsymecca@gmail.com. So what is it that makes this better than Patsy at GTSmarketingworks.com? Is because the email companies out there like Outlook, Gmail, Yahoo, what they're going to do is they look at every email email coming in. They decide, do I put it in the inbox? Do I put it in the a social box? Do I put it in a promotional box? Do I put it in a spam folder? Or do I put it in junk mail? So anytime you have more than, I've got 942 recipients in here. So anytime there's more than 25, Outlook is going to put it in a junk folder. So unless they can identify this as an actual person. So here they can see my first and last name. They can see my first and last name at gmail.com. So it's obviously not a business, so it's not promotional. It's, and they're going to take a chance of saying, oh, this is a real person emailing this person. So let's put this in the inbox. If it's a vanity email that they can associate with a business or even a kw.com email, they're probably going to put it into a promotion or spam folder. So I like to use personal emails here, not vanity emails, and hit save. And then you're going to edit your subject. You saw me do that already. So we're going to do a subject and a preview text. I'm just going to say subject of my newsletter, because this is a template. Entice the viewer. We're going to hit save and go on to design our email. So here, if you have a paid, like mine's $20 a month, so I have a lot more templates available to me. If you have a free one, you're probably only going to have these two basic ones, maybe this third one as a template for you. Under themes, there are maybe a few available in the free account, but when you have the $20 one, they're all available to you. And you can see in here, if I go to newsletters, there's 30 different templates in here that I can use to start from instead of building it from scratch. But today I just wanted to show you how to build it from scratch. So I'm going to go back to layouts. I like going from a one column to two column back to one column full width, because that usually gives me more options. So I'm going to go ahead and choose this template to start with.
Patsy, this is Diane. So I've noticed that some of these templates that you get read differently on laptop than mobile. They change the column width and different things. Do these stay pretty consistent across different devices?
MailChimp ones are supposed to be mobile friendly. And you're just going to have to run tests on that and make sure that in your audience that you also are have an email in there. Maybe it's your personal email that it goes to, so you know when it goes out, and you can see how it looks on your mobile and on your desktop. So make sure that you add yourself into your audience as a recipient.
Thanks.
Good question. So here you're going to see that they've got a few things in here. You can add your logo, so click on your logo. Just like on your websites, you're going to have a media gallery. So this is stuff that you've used, you have used either in past emails or it may be blank and you have to start uploading. So again, you want to make sure that when you go in to write your post, you want to find some images, and Canva is the best source for images, FYI. So I would use them out of Canva if you can find them, but you want to make sure that you have the rights to use them. So here you're just going to, hopefully you've kind of thought about what you're doing and you've sourced your images and you've put them into a folder for your weekly newsletter. and you just upload them. So you just go pick out your newsletter. Let's see, where's my other one? Folder, and you upload all the images you think you're going to need. And if you need to do this one at a time, you can do this one at a time. I wanted my logo there, so let's go put in my logo, actually. Insert. So there's my logo, and this is already sized for the width of this. But if you need to resize it, click Edit, and you want to make sure that it says custom and the dimensions are locked, and you can put in, I usually like 350 pixels wide or 250 pixels wide, because that tends to fit more. You don't want to do anything on the height because you want the dimensions to be locked, and you hit save, and then it goes in there. Also, I think it's important that on your logo, you add a link. So here, I'm going to go to my home on my website, copy my URL, and put in my website. Oops, I didn't want events in there. Insert. So if anyone were to click on my logo, it would automatically take them to my website. And then you can start designing your email. And you've got a full editor up here. You also have content, style, and settings. So for example, here it's time to design your email. You can decide on what size you want that. You can make it bold, you can make it italics, you can underline it. You can add a link to it. You can center it. This also makes it a different color. So you've got a full editor up here. Don't be hesitant to use that. And then you're just going to start writing your content. Now, if you decide that you want this to be, let's say, white, for example, notice it disappears. So we need to add a background. So we're going to go to Style. Oh, Settings, no, Style. And line height. Oh, and this text box is not going to let us add a background. So I'm sorry, let's go back and make that black and say save and close. So if you want to set up your template, over here, as long as you're not in any of these blocks, you can say style. And let's say we want the page to be turquoise or a light blue. Save. And the pre-header, the header, the upper body, columns, you can set all that up if you want to create something a little different. But let's just say that was the font. We're going to make it black. Here's the background. So I'm going to create my background to be light blue, hit save. My pre-header. Maybe that's not in my, oh. Let's go back here. to edit. I don't think that feature is actually available in my account. So let me figure that out. But you should be able to create your background, everything in here. And it's not letting me. So we'll go ahead and figure that out later. So here's a block. And notice how, let's hit save and continue. You've got all these widgets. So you've got text, you've got a box text. So a box text, and we're just going to drag that wherever we want it, is going to be white on a dark background. So if you want to change the color of your box text, you can go here and say, let's make it red or green. Let's go to green, save and close. And I can change my font to size 24 and bold, whatever you want.
Patsy, are we able to add video to these?
Yes. So video, there's a video right here. So let's go ahead and do that. So let's put that underneath my two columns over here. So here, I'm just going to say, let me go to one of my videos. You go ahead and open your video, copy your URL, and you just paste it in there.
Very
and
cool.
notice,
Thank you.
It has a caption. So if you want to put a caption in there, you can put a caption. Whatever you want to say. I'm not being very creative right now. But yes, you can add video, you can embed code, a button, your social media, you can add a share button. But mostly you're going to use open text, box text now and then. You can divide, put dividers in. So it, and notice it put it into that one column. So let's just go ahead and say save and close and put a divider into the other one. So if I put that divider in there by accident, I didn't mean it to go into that column. So I just deleted it out of there. And if I want to put in just a plain image, I just drop that where I want and upload an image again. Just put any of them in there, save and close. Now this one is fun because if you have a house for sale or a listing that you want to promote, you can pick this image group. So here you're going to start off with a 2-column images, 2 images. You're going to say upload an image. Let's see, what do I have over here? We're just going to pick any of these, say insert. Now I'm going to upload a second image. And again, if I want to link these to external links, I can do that, or resize them, whatever you want to do. But notice we've got 2 now. So let's add another image. And so it's 3. So it creates the first one as a big one. Let's upload another one. And now it's got 3 in there. So let's say we want to add a 4th one. So it's just doing the smart work for you. It's just resizing them accordingly. So now I've got 4 images in here. So I could actually put 4, you can actually put up to 5 images. So what it would look like would be this. So your gallery would look like that. That's the most you can do in an image group. But you can also add a second image group right below it if you want to. And remember, each of these images can have a link somewhere if you want them to. So let's say I put in the video. Let's get rid of this one. I put in a video about the house I have for sale, and I have my title up here for this section and an anchor that this is my featured listing of the week. And then I put in a video of that listing, and now I'm going to put in some images of that listing. And now I'm going to probably put in some text so I can write, put in the entire description. Let's see, I have one over here from Coco. Oops. And again, you've got a full editor, so you can make things bigger, you can bold things, you can underline things, you can add links, you can make it different colors. So if I wanted to go in here and say 4 beds plus office, 2.5 baths, Blackstone community. So I can bold that and put that in the center. Let's make it a little bit larger, maybe a little bit smaller. I can change the font. Add in the space. Hit save and close. So you can see where I can, now I just added a featured listing. Let's put in a title, a quick title right here. And remember, most of the people that you're working with, your audience, may not associate with the word listing as much. You know, call it a home or a house or property. And let's make this something fun. So now I have a headline for my group. I may also want to put an anchor on this one, say, call it featured home. And then I'll go up here. Well, I guess I don't have it anymore. That was on the other one where I have my table of contents and I could add an anchor. So we're kind of running out of time. Do you guys want to learn more about this, or do you think you kind of get the gist of it? It's pretty simple. And the fact that you're really just dragging these over. And if I want to, say, put my video below my images, all I have to do is grab it by that little thing right there that it has and drag it. See right here? This is the drag to reorder. So I can put it wherever I want it. So you need to think about the content of your newsletter. So again, you want to use Eve. You want to give them something that is entertaining, something of value, and something that may enrich their lives. So try to think about having maybe 3 sections that you know you can keep up on that are of interest to you. And here's my important wisdom. If you, let's say you're a knitter and you love to knit. So you may be part of a Facebook knitting group. And maybe some of those people have become your friend. So if you post things in that group about knitting, you might be able to lead generate. So I call that, you know, like-minded people, and meeting them online that you can put into your lead generation or your email list, your sphere of influence. So maybe in my newsletter, I'm going to put a section on knitting every week. You know, maybe it's about camping, or maybe it's about things to do around Walnut Creek, or different wineries up in Sonoma. But have sections on here. And that's why I like the other email that we did for Ping and Jim, where we actually had highlight a local business. So do things that are going to bring them back to the community that you serve. And it could be also a section on a nonprofit that you support. So just think about having 3 different sections in your newsletter. The market updates you can get out of car. If you don't know how to do that, I've got an email over here that is downloading, let's see, here, the State Association of Realtors resource for posts. So you can go into this email or this video and watch how to download those car updates. And they have a lot of infographics called One Cool Thing, if you haven't seen that. So feel free to utilize the email or the videos that I have over here on my YouTube channel. And I will be putting this up on the YouTube, and as soon as we get out of here and it converts, I will load it into YouTube so you have this video as well. Do you guys have any questions? I'm sorry I'm taking so long. I like to respect your time, but I know
Patsy, these last several weeks have been tremendous. And you asked about, do we want to learn more? I feel like I personally need maybe a month to work with all of this stuff. And maybe it would be helpful then to come back and review, you know, several weeks down the road to see how we're doing.
That would be awesome. I mean, next week is really about how to use Buffer. It's a free account. How to use Buffer to schedule your social media stuff. And Diane is actually going to be teaching that class next Monday morning.
Cool.
Woohoo, get excited.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
So again, it's just getting introduced to it. I don't want to do the TMI, too much information, but getting introduced to it to where you're going to go try it and play with it. And because you don't know what you don't know until you start playing with it. And just don't be afraid of this stuff, you guys. And make sure that you read my blogs, because like the last blog was all about being tech savvy during a pandemic. So what are the trends for 2021? So go read that blog. I'm also posting a blog because I'm really tired of unfollowing real estate agents because they just have to talk about their political views. And I don't want my friends and family seeing that, so I don't want it on my newsfeed. So I tend to unfollow people. I have unfollowed over 30 people this year, and that's sad to me. So, and then the following Monday, March 1st, we're going to talk about your SEO with your new website, and if you're getting your rankings increase and what you can do to make that happen, because a lot of it is on your own. And I've provided, if you don't have my step-by-step guide on how to increase your rankings, let me know, send me an email and I'll forward it out to you. But we're going to talk about that. Now, I will tell you that Sunday before this class, I get my second vaccine, and everyone says you get really sick with the second one, like the very next day. So whether or not I will be attending this, it may be up to Diane and her comfort zone in being able to teach this class. I may be propped up with heating pads and ice on my head and taking ibuprofen to be here. So that's what we're going to try and talk about. If we don't get that done, we'll push it out to the following week. But yes, I have a lot more things that I do want to talk about, including what you're posting on social media that is very, goes along with the blog that I'm posting right now. So take care, everybody. If you have questions, holler. I will send out a link to this video as soon as we get off. It'll just take a little bit to get it uploaded. And email me if you have any other questions. Anybody have anything right now?
Great job. Great job.
You're welcome.
See you next week, everybody.
See you.
Yep, Diane's teaching. You got to be there.
Get excited.
All right. Bye, guys.